Okay. Um, I I don't really know sort of how to do this. Well, I'm going to try and document as much as I can. So this is about my life. It's about what I faced. It's about the part the Ministry of Justice played in it. And it's about the part the NHS played in it. And continue to play in it. Where do I begin? So, when I was 7 years old, my mum, she just had my brother, my third brother, or there was three away when that child was born, all to the same father. The father was an alcoholic, abusive. I remember when my third brother was born, my mum, she couldn't cope. She definitely had some form of postnatal depression, and she just couldn't cope. I think she'd had enough of my biological father as well. So one day she kicked him out, and at the same time, she kicked both myself and my 6-year-old brother out. I was 7 at the time. She kicked both out the house with my dad, and it was only her and Wayne, the third brother. There's only them two in the house. And I remember standing there looking at my dad when we started following him down the street. And he's turned around and looked back at Wayne. I can't remember his exact words, but it was something to the lines of, "Piss off, leave me alone." And, I was 7, my brother was 6, so we went back, we sat at the front door, and we just waited for hours. Eventually, my mum let Wayne, and that was the end of that story. However, it led to something that was even worse. My mum met my stepfather, whose name is Norman Victor Bell. His details are all public, all of them. He's been in the papers for ridiculous things. It started off, as far as I can remember, it was okay. It wasn't, it started off as a normal family unit. But as soon as my mum started having children with him, he changed towards us. Now, I took the brunt of the abuse, and sometimes I did so deliberately. I couldn't stand the thought of this man, if that's what you want to call him, beating, apologies, beating up and attacking my younger siblings. So if I knew he was about to do it, I'd just jump up and kick him in the head. Bearing in mind, I was only 7, 8, 9 at this time, and I couldn't fight back. I knew I was going to. I knew I was going to get hiding, but it didn't matter because in my heart I felt it was right. What I was doing, I felt it was right. I was trying to protect the people I loved. Now this went on for a long time. I remember one Christmas, I actually got put into a care home because of an argument I had with a stepfather. My mum took his side. But when I was younger, when I was about 14, he'd done some serious damage to me. It left me in hospital for some time. And even today, I'm still in pain from that. Real physical pain. And we had this relationship that was just based purely on abuse. The man, even though he got acquitted of these crimes, I know, 1,000,000%, I know that he was guilty of rape at least twice. So I was a bit of, I acted out in school. I wasn't very educationally orientated at all. So I acted out a lot in school, and it got me suspended when I was 11. I ended up in the care system and everything else. I ended up petty crimes, and when I was 16, I was in a place called Kylo House, and it was a place for young people who didn't quite meet the threshold for young offenders, but also had committed crimes. And I'd been there for some time, and I hadn't seen my brothers or my sister, my stepsister, in some time. So I rung my mum, and I said, "Look, what's going on? Why haven't you come to see me?" And every time I got the same answer, and it was, "Oh, Norman's not well enough to drive the car." But I knew what that meant. I knew he just couldn't be arsed. He didn't want to come and see me. He didn't want to drive them down to see me, so they couldn't get there to see me. By this time, I had a bit of a reputation, and I told my mum that if Norman did not bring them to see me, I was going to have him hurt. This is the difficult part. So, the next day, my mum, Wayne, which was brother number 3, with me being number 1, there was then Christopher, there was then Wayne. We all had the same father. Then there was step brother A, stepsister, and then there was stepbrother B. Now, when they were coming to see me that day, Wayne and stepbrother B, who were both 12 and 2 respectively, and my mum, they all died. My stepfather survived a car crash, and I remember being so hungry and feeling, I can't even put it into words how I felt, but it was bad. And in my anger, I made a threat. And that threat was to kill him, to kill Norman. This threat was made while I was in this system. And so when I was due to be released, I was gate arrested, put straight back on remand, then sent straight to a hospital for mental health sectioning. So far into the section, or the assessment for the section, I was told what they're going to try and obtain in court, what section they were looking for, all of it. And it was a section 3741. Now, to those of you that don't know anything about sections, but you know, it was kind of, it's a PPI. The IPP, the Indefinite Public Protection Order. It's the same as that. Order that was banned for being inhumane. And when I seen that, it broke me completely. Because as far as I was aware, I hadn't really done anything for that. And this made me even more angry, and I threatened the doctor. Silly mistake, I know. I was then sectioned, and I was kept on the section from July 2002 to April 2019. When I won my tribunal, I was discharged homeless. And there'd been a lot of sort of stuff happening along the way, but none of it was violent. Not, you know, there was one episode of violence, and that was just after I learned of what section they were trying to put me on. And that episode of violence got me put into Rampton Hospital at 19 years of age. Now, eventually I get out of hospital, get out homeless, and I'm pretty much immediately diagnosed with cancer, leukemia. My belief is the medications that they're forced into me, and when I say forced, I mean forced. They'd pin me to the floor and they would force the medication into me. These medications are to give you in a glass syringe because it would melt plastic. So, you know, and it was notorious for attacking and killing white blood cells, which is where my leukemia is being produced from. Um, Now, as I sit here today, on um, Sunday, the 10th of November, 2024, I've managed to get myself into a flat, but bill-wise, I don't know how to save, I don't know how to pay for bills, I don't know how to cook, I don't even, it's not that I don't know how to clean, or it's just I don't know I have to do it. And that sounds strange, I know, but gotta remember, for over 2 decades, almost 2 decades, they did all that for me, you know. Um, while I was in the hospitals, there were doctors, psychiatrists, even charge nurses sacked for falsifying records, falsifying reports. I don't know why they did it. I have my suspicion, and I think it's because of the amount of money involved in block booking these beds and making sure these beds were full, especially since I was placed out of area. As I sit here now, I've still got the cancer, but they've stripped away any um, any help I need with my emotions. Um, I don't sleep. You can clearly see that looking at me. Yeah. I keep begging them for help, and the help just isn't coming. It just, whenever I try to talk to either one of the NHS disciplines that I'm being supervised by, each one will, I always get the same reply. I'm not here to talk about that. I'm just here to treat your cancer. Or I'm not here to talk about that. I'm just here to treat your cold. And these are the sort of replies I'm getting. And it's coming to a head. It is coming to a head. I know that if I was to stop taking these tablets, in less than 3 to 6 months, I'd probably be dead. In fact, there's no probably about it, I would be. And that's where I'm at now. That's my thinking. Because I don't want another situation where I become emotionally overwhelmed and I end up hurting somebody. I don't want that. So I have two options. I ask them for help, which I have done. I continue to do. I will continue to do. Or I stop taking the tablet. And I brace myself for whatever comes next. I don't know what I'm going to do yet. It's a complicated situation. But I've decided to make this video because whatever I decide, I want to record the proof at the end of it. So whether I die from cancer or suicide, you know, anything else, whatever, at least all the information gets released. And hopefully, somewhere down the line, someone will be held accountable. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to cope with this. I don't know how to cope with life. I'm extremely socially phobic, and I'm completely alone. But for as long as I can, I'm gonna try. I'm gonna keep trying. I wish they could make it a little bit easier for me. But I don't think I have any intention in doing that. I'll tell you why. Because when I won that tribunal on the 29th of April 2019, nobody, including my solicitor, the judge, the doctor, nobody thought anybody would ever be released in that manner. There's only one person that believed it was going to happen that day. And she was a wonderful woman. She'd been with me for a long, long time. And, she didn't agree with what was happening. And anyways, I won it. And in doing so, I embarrassed the NHS. I embarrassed the Ministry of Justice. Now, you can call it paranoia if you want. But I know how the system works. I know how they use notes to communicate with each other. And I know that the NHS is more like a club than a hospital. So I think that's why it kind of, they just don't care now. And I just wish they'd make it a bit easier. I'm going to keep making these diaries. to start recording all my appointments, and I'll post them. I'll post them to the page I'm going to post this to. And I just hope at some point the human rights solicitor says it, or somebody who can make sense of it all says it and gets in touch with me. I'm not asking for much. I don't want much. I'm 41 years old. I'm never going to have my own family. So, I don't need much. The only thing I want is to spend whatever time I have left in peace. To spend whatever time I have left not constantly in physical pain from the damage done over those 2 decades. I'd do anything for a few good nights' sleep. But I don't think it's ever going to happen. So anyways, I'm going to try and keep these videos short. I know I don't want to bore people. And I'll make another video when I know more, and I'll post it. I'll post whatever conversations I have. I will be recording them. And if anybody wants to see the paperwork, if anybody wants to see the entire history, feel free to ask. I will give it to you. It's already online. I'm sorry for the quality of the video, my appearance. It's all very new to me, but I'll do my best to keep you up to date, and hopefully something good can come out of it. Even if it's after I'm dead, at least something good comes out of something bad. Thank you for taking the time to watch a video, and I'll keep you posted.